Manga-Waido.
My name is Makoto Sato. I've been at my company for 2 years. I work at an advertising agency. Our CEO, who's still in his 30s, spearheaded an event recently that garnered a lot of media attention. He's seen as a very promising individual in the industry. Because our CEO is so young, the gap between the employees and the boss is pretty minimal, making the atmosphere at our company relaxing and easygoing. I've been here for 2 years now, and I finally feel like I'm getting the hang of things. That's what I would like to say.
Hey Sato,
Yes?
can you summarize these documents and this proposal too?
Proposal? But this is yours.
And get me some coffee.
Hurry
you! Don't be slow!
Okay. This is Kazuki Yamaguchi. He's been in the company 3 years longer than me. He gives me a ton of work and insults me, telling me I'm slow and so on. All of this started after this one time in my first year at the company. Having recently joined, I made a big mistake. I sent a proposal to the wrong client. Leaking an unofficial proposal was a big no-no. But one of my senpais covered for me. He noticed my mistake straight away and went with me to apologize to the client. Thanks to this senpai, things managed not to blow over. This senpai is not Kazuki Yamaguchi. The senpais who helped me changed jobs immediately. All Yamaguchi senpai did was say,
You're useless. What are you gonna do?
to make matters worse, Yamaguchi senpai acted as if he'd helped me and started treating me like I owed him one. Here's your coffee.
You're so slow. Do you even care? What's that look about? Ah! Sato, you spilled it, you idiot!
No, I didn't!
Are you saying I did it? Hurry up and clean it up!
This is what it's like every day. Having said that, there is some truth to what he's saying. I can be a bit useless and slow at times. I need to get my act together and get my own back at Yamaguchi. This is the thought that kept me going. But one day, my patience was finally pushed over the edge.
Sato, this proposal is excellent.
Really? Thank you very much. I was pretty confident about this proposal. I was happy that a proposal I'd worked hard on had been recognized by my seniors.
Hey, this is the one I came up with, right? What? Did you look at my laptop, Sato?
Why would I do that?
What's going on here? I originally came up with this idea. Is that true?
No! This is...
Do you think a second year could come up with this idea? Sato, learning from your senpais is not a bad thing, but you can't go around stealing people's ideas. What I'm trying to say is, let's let this one slide. He's only a junior after all. Well, so long as you're okay with it, I'll take over the handling of this proposal. And you can help me with it, Sato. Right. Just get it done.
Wait!
Yeah, so get it done, okay? And put my name on it. I'll see you around.
I couldn't take it anymore. Not only was he pushing work onto me, now he was stealing mine! I was at my limit. This is when I decided to do something about it.
Did you finish the thing I told you to do yesterday?
Not yet.
What? Hurry up!
I have other things I have to do.
What are you talking about? My work is more important to this company than yours. So hurry up and do it, dumbass!
I understand.
Hurry up and do it!
He was about to leave when he returned and whispered in my ear,
Snitch to the boss, and I'll make sure you regret it.
He threatened me. I know. I wouldn't do something like that.
As long as you get it, it's fine.
He finally left the room. After that, I began recording everything my senpai said. I had tons of audio files on him. My intention was to report him, but then I started to think that simply reporting him wasn't enough. One such day, our CEO called a meeting for all employees. A TV crew is coming in to do a feature on us. Apparently, a local TV station was making a program called Future Companies, and they decided to film us. Our CEO looked super happy about it, but I didn't think it would involve me. And then, a surprising thing happened the day of the shooting.
I'm the program director, Oki. I'm looking forward to working with you today.
Yes, so are we. Naojiro? The man standing there was my high school classmate, Naojiro Oki. Naojiro was a film lover and one of my few otaku friends. He went to a visual arts university, and they started working in TV. I wasn't expecting to see him here.
Yes! I'll happily comply!
Yamaguchi-kun, yes, you'll do. I gave Yamaguchi-senpai the side-eye and went to talk to Naojiro. Naojiro! Makoto! Been a long time! Who would have thought you'd become a director? And who'd have thought you'd be working at the company I was filming? We were overjoyed to see each other, but we were both at work. We promised to meet up for drinks later and return to our work. Cheers! I was so surprised to see you! What a chance encounter, huh? We told each other about our lives recently and reminisced about the past. Talking to a friend from high school made me feel old all of a sudden. By the way, what's that guy I'm gonna interview, Yamaguchi, like? What's wrong? Something I should know about him? The thing is, I hesitated for a second, but I couldn't lie to a friend. I told him how Yamaguchi-senpai was treating me, and showed him the recordings. Man, that's so annoying. It is, right? I'm thinking of reporting him eventually, but even that doesn't feel like enough. Hey, I got a good idea. Good idea? Yeah, the best way you could possibly report him. I heard Naojiro's plan and agreed to it immediately. We shook hands and parted ways. A few days later, the close coverage on Yamaguchi-senpai began. He boasted how much work he got done to the camera. Yamaguchi-san, it's so important for a man to be good at his job, ain't it?
That's right. Make sure you get it all on camera.
Leave it to me. He looked very happy about the close coverage on him. But when the camera stopped rolling, he'd go back to his usual self.
Hey Sato, I'm going home, so you finish the rest.
But there's still so much left to do.
My current job is to model for this close coverage. Of course it makes sense for me to go home.
What?
Tell the department head I've gone to talk to a client. See you!
After that, it wasn't every day, but the TV crew would come in. They filmed presentations and client meetings. I was asked to come along to these. I was the one doing most of my senpai's work, so it only made sense. 1 month later, the CEO called another meeting. Standing beside him was Naojiro. They're finished making the program. We thought we'd run it by you first. So let's watch it and check it out. The CEO took his seat. We also all took our seats. Yamaguchi-senpai looked even more excited than the CEO to see the video. As I was one of the most junior employees, I was in charge of setting up the screen and handling the projector. First, there was an explanation of the company, and then an interview with the CEO. This looks excellent. The main section with the CEO ended, and next was the part about the employees.
Next is my turn. What the hell?
Self-touting? Stealing of ideas? What is this? The screen showed Yamaguchi-senpai's problematic behavior and words.
Snitch to the boss, and I'll make sure you regret it. My work is more important to this company than yours, so hurry up and do it, dumbass! Tell the department head I've gone to talk to a client. See you! Hey, what is this? What's this about?
I'm sorry. Must be because I'm a dumbass. The video also showed him insulting the CEO and causing problems at client meetings.
What's this, Sato? You can't do this to me!
What I'm doing is reporting you! That's right. I sent all the footage I had on my senpai to Naojiro, who edited it into one video. And I accidentally played the footage in front of the entire company. This was the plan Naojiro and I had come up with. Yamaguchi, care to explain?
Boss, it's not what you think!
How is it not?
It's all CG! I swear it's all fake!
If you think it's fake, I have the original footage on my phone right here. I went to talk to the CEO. All of what you saw is true. Since when? Since 1.5 years ago, until just now.
Just now?
I played an audio file I had recorded on my phone.
Why waste time playing our stupid CEO's interview? They should just play mine.
I just recorded this. Got it. I think I understand the situation. Kazuki Yamaguchi?
Yes?
Will you admit it's all true? Do you still think you can get away with this?
Yes, it's all true. I'm very sorry.
Sato-kun, did you get that? Yes, I did.
Yes, it's all true. I'm very sorry.
You know what's about to happen, Yamaguchi? Yamaguchi-senpai was fired from the company. He left with his tail between his legs. He'd also been mean to other employees, and they were happy to see him go. That footage became a problem for our clients, and our CEO requested Yamaguchi to pay for compensation. Unable to find another job, he ended up in a lot of debt. Now Jiro and I celebrated our mission success with drinks that night. Did you have enough footage in the end? Even without the close coverage? Don't worry. The CEO interview was more than enough. Oh, good. I think next time we should do a close coverage of your work. No way! But you're doing well, right? Yeah. The proposal I had come up with when my idea was stolen turned out to be a huge success. Both my seniors and the CEO recognized the hard work I had put in. I started to get more and more work, and my career is picking up steam. I think I'm going to focus on my work and give it all I've got from now on.
My name is Akari. My parents got married as soon as they turned 20, and I was born not long after. Apparently they got married against their parents' wishes, so they weren't able to receive any financial support. Since they were also inexperienced, they weren't able to find proper jobs, and we barely got by from day to day. But I was happy. Until my sister was born. You're so cute, Akari-chan!
I could stare at her all day.
My sister was born when I was 4 years old, and my parents started directing all their attention towards her. Maybe it's normal for things like this to happen when a new child is born. But they only diverted more and more attention to her the older she got, and by the time I was in elementary school, my parents only loved her. It's because my little sister is really pretty. While I, on the other hand, don't look that good. One day, she took the doll my parents gave me long ago. But when I told Mom to make Akari give it back, she told me that I needed to be more patient since I was the older one. And even when the painting I made that won an award was ruined by my sister, she said the same thing once again. Is the food not ready yet, Akari?
Hey, I'm gonna be late for work at this rate! Hurry up!
They started making me do all of the housework, including taking care of my sister. But by then, I had convinced myself that it couldn't be helped, since we were poor and my parents both had to work. I couldn't study even if I wanted to, and once I graduated middle school, I got a part-time job to help with the family's finances. But even after working so hard, they tell me things like, do the laundry before eating, and they don't let me eat at the table with them. You don't have to focus on your own studies, so help Akari instead, is something my mom says a lot. I lost my patience just once and told my mom, why don't you do the housework and take care of Akari as well? But, what a rude child, and to think I raised you. I regretted it after she started screaming and throwing things. I didn't feel like I was being raised by them at all, and I even had to clean up the things she threw around. I decided not to argue with them anymore, since it only made things worse for me. One day, my dad got home in a good mood for a change.
Hey, Akari, I found a place for you to work!
What?
You see, I happened to see a flyer posted on a house on my way home from work today. Apparently they're looking for live-in employees. Aren't you glad, Akari?
What? But I'm only 15. A live-in employee? I'm gonna go live with a stranger?
You aren't enthusiastic about it? But it's an amazing deal! You don't have to pay for rent, and they'll even give you food.
Yeah, great idea. No company is going to hire a middle school graduate anyways. Let's send you there immediately. Mom joined in and tried to convince me to take the job. No, she was trying to make me leave. To think that they didn't care a single bit about me. But wait, it might be better than working as a housekeeper at a house like this. I understand. I agreed to their proposition. The next day, my parents took me to the house that had a flyer on it.
We're here!
Mom rang the doorbell and out came... Huh? A bald man wearing sunglasses with a huge scar on his face. Is he a Yakuza? My parents ignored me while I stood there in shock and went inside the house. I was so scared, I didn't even consider refusing to come in, and so I followed my parents. We sat down on a sofa at what seemed to be a waiting room.
Her name is Akari. Do whatever you want with her. Yoshiko Onigai Shimazu. Whatever I want, huh?
Yes, I can send you her stuff as soon as we get home. She's not our child anymore. Consider her your child now and make her do whatever you want. My parents seemed to be a bit scared of the Yakuza-looking man and were trying to get things over with quickly so that they could go home.
Bye then, Hikari. Take care.
Oh, send us your salary, all right? You already know the bank account. Said my parents and hurriedly went home. It looks like they finally threw me away.
Time for you to do what I say then.
I closed my eyes, terrified as to what he was going to do to me.
Just kidding. Could you tell me about the life you've had up until now?
What? I couldn't understand what was going on. Does he have some sort of ulterior motive? I didn't know what to do, so I decided to stop caring and tell this man about how my parents had treated me like a housemaid growing up. Words started flowing out of my mouth once I started talking, and for some reason, I felt better afterwards.
I thought it was something like that. Thanks for telling me about your situation.
Once I finished my story, the bald man thanked me. I felt ticklish for some reason.
You see, all the kids here are like you. They didn't receive their parents' love growing up.
I see.
I have bad eyesight and always wear sunglasses, which is why you might have got the wrong idea. But I'm actually a monk. When I put out that flyer, parents like yours come here to give me their children. My objective is to save you from your parents' situation and make your parents repent their actions.
I didn't know what to say since it was all so unexpected. Apparently, he works here at his house, taking care of children with nowhere else to go whenever he doesn't have work to do at the temple. 3 other kids live in his house, and they were all children who didn't receive their parents' love, like me. Welcome, Hikari-chan. You must be hungry, right? Time for lunch, everyone. You're our family now, Hikari-chan. The bald monk's wife, who unlike him looked like a really kind person, started preparing food. It was so different to the treatment I had received up until now, which is why I couldn't help but crying. I'll do my best. Yoroshione gaishimasu. My work started for real from the next day. I went to the temple where the monk's wife taught me how to do desk work. Running a temple involved more desk work than I had imagined, and I found out that doing funerals wasn't the only thing temples were in charge of. The kids here have all been hurt, but that means they're better at understanding others' feelings than other people. I'm sure you'll get good at this job immediately, Hikari-chan. Like the monk's wife said, I got a hang of my new job relatively and started getting along with the temple's parishioners. 1 year passed, and then 2. By that time, I had gained popularity among the people around me. Hikari-chan is so good at listening. There's no other place as relaxing as here, say the people who lost family and come to the temple after having a conversation with me. I was still young and not even a monk, which is why what I was doing was just basically talking to people who came to the temple when I had time from work. But as time went by, I started receiving donations to the temple from the people who came. One day, the monk told me this while handing me a brown envelope.
You earned this money through your own hard work, Hikari-chan, so here.
The monk smiled and gave me my first ever bonus. I was so happy since it felt like I was being accepted for the first time. I can send my family a large allowance, I thought to myself, getting carried away. And so I called my mother. Oh, Hikari? What is it? Oh, is that so? That's not much compared to the money I spent raising you. Stop calling me, will you? You're not my child anymore. My mother was still the same even after 2 years. Actually, I think she's even harsher to me now than before. Because I got carried away, I ended up just hurting myself again. I regretted calling her. But it didn't bother me as much as it used to. I am myself. There are people who rely on me now, and I have a place to be. But one day, around 2 months after that, something happened. My mother suddenly barged into the monk's house. She went in without permission and found me. Please, Hikari, help us. Dad got into an accident. What? Apparently, Dad was majorly injured and hospitalized, and so he couldn't work for a few months. The hospitalization fees are immense, but they barely have any savings, she said. We won't be able to survive at this rate. You're the only hope we have left. Give money to your family. So, she just wants money, huh? I was more surprised than sad. That's when the monk appeared and…
Long time no see, Akari's mother. Huh? Isn't this the first time you came since bringing Akari here?
That's…
Didn't you say that she wasn't your child anymore?
That was just a figure of speech.
Oh, I remember you and your husband left before I could even give you guys an explanation. Did you come back because you forgot to say something?
My mother couldn't take it anymore and kneeled down on the ground to apologize. I'm so sorry. She started explaining the situation to us while crying. You see, when I got to the hospital to see your father, there was already a young woman there with him. He was cheating on me. It seems that the person who called the ambulance also called the first number in Dad's phone chat history, which happened to be the number of the woman Dad was seeing. Mom got a call from the hospital, and so she went to see Dad only to find another woman with him. Your father tried to get away with it using terrible excuses. I got mad at this other woman as well, so I slapped her in the face and told your father we were getting divorced. I see. Not just that, but this woman works at the same part-time job as me, and so now everyone there knows about Dad's adultery. I can't stay in that workplace anymore. I see. Akari as well. Ever since you left, she's had to do all the housework you used to do, and now she doesn't want to go to school due to stress. This family is a mess now. I miss when you were with us. I see. I listened to my mother's words as if I was listening to a parishioner at the temple. I saw my mother's facial expressions change the more she talked.
Both good things and bad things always come back to you in one way or another. It looks like you and your family have finally repented your actions and learned gratitude.
Yes, it's just as you say. I don't know what I should say to you, Hikari, for everything until now. I won't tell you to forgive me, Mutt. I'm so sorry. Seeing my mother apologize to me made my feelings of enjoyment of her dire situation disappear, and instead, I started feeling proud. Can I return home for a bit, Monk?
Of course! Do what you think is right. You can stay here, or you can go back home and help your family.
Thank you. I stopped living at the monk's house and instead started going to the temple to work every day from my old house. Still though, I was surprised as to just see how little money my family had. Apparently, my father had been using the money I sent them with his mistress of his. He apologized, but my mother didn't forgive him and so they got divorced. My sister started feeling better as well once I returned, and eventually started going to school again. Sorry for everything until now, sister. She started thanking me for the things I did, and we returned to how we used to be like when we were young. My mom repented her past actions as well. She found a new job, and now the three of us have dinner at the same table every day. That reminds me, apparently my father started living with his mistress after he recovered from his injury, but then she told him that she didn't need a man without any money. She threw him away before a year had even passed. Apparently, he now lives on his own without even a job. It's karma. What you do to the world always comes back around. According to the monk, this was all prepared by Buddha to give us a chance to learn. I don't understand difficult things like that yet, but I do feel like I'm a lot more mature now compared to before I met the monk. This is truly all thanks to him and his wife. I'm going to forget about my past hatred and instead look towards the future with my family.
My name is Takumi Matsunaga. I was born to kind parents, and I'm a regular high schooler. Well, I used to be a regular high schooler at least. Last month, I lost my parents and became an orphan. It was raining really hard that day, so my mother drove to the station to pick up my dad. On the way home, a car crashed into them. They died immediately. I held my brother Kazuki's hand, stunned.
What's gonna happen to us from now on, brother?
It's alright. I'm gonna protect you, Kazuki. Our grandparents are too old to take care of us. The first people who lent us a hand were my uncle and his wife who lived in the same town.
We'll make sure you guys can keep going to the same schools.
Thanks to my aunt and uncle, Kazuki, who was in grade 6, didn't have to change schools. I also was able to go to the same high school as before. We were so thankful for their help. But one day, I heard the two of them having a conversation.
Damn it! This is all of the insurance money?
It looks like the person who crashed into them doesn't have much to spare either.
If I knew this was the case, then I wouldn't have taken them in the first place.
Yep. It isn't too late to kick them out, though.
Yep, we have no responsibility to take care of them if we're not actually receiving any money.
My aunt and uncle were only after our money. Apparently, they didn't expect our parents' insurance policy to be so weak and for the old man who crashed into them to not even have any insurance for accidents. Me and Kazuki were being kicked out before even half a year had passed.
You guys decide where you'll go.
I'll take care of the paperwork if you guys want to enter a facility.
They told us to go wherever we wanted, with cold expressions. I hugged Kazuki, who was crying. But there was nothing I could do. Mom, Dad, what should we do?
Mom, Dad, come back!
Me and Kazuki went to visit our parents' graves since it was the date of their accident. That's when.
Hey, is that you, Takumi? Kazuki? Ayato?
Our cousin Ayato appeared holding flowers in his hands. He was a relative on our mother's side. And the three of us would play together a lot when we were young.
What's the matter? Where's your uncle? Is he not with you? There's no way we'd come with him.
It looks like something happened.
Why don't you tell me about it?
Ayato brought us to a restaurant and bought us food. After eating, he listened to our story.
I see. So that was what was going on.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't the two of you live with me instead?
What? With you?
Yep. I started living on my own last year. It's in this town as well, so you guys won't have to change schools.
But, wouldn't that be too much trouble for you?
What are you saying? You guys are like brothers to me. Of course it's not too much trouble. My late mother told me not to never ignore a person that needs help. It's fine. I work at a pretty good company, so I'll be able to earn enough to support you two. Come live with me. Living alone is lonely after all.
That reminds me, Ayato was raised by only her mother as a child. She passed away a few years ago due to an illness. He might not be lying when he says that living on his own is lonely. Still, is it alright if we take advantage of his kindness and allow him to support us? I was hesitant. But then Kazuki said, I want to live with you, Ayato. You're my favorite. And since we didn't have anywhere else to go, it was decided that we would live with him from now on. On the day me and Kazuki were gonna leave, our uncle didn't even see us to the door, and instead kept watching TV. Thank you for taking care of us until now.
Goodbye, Uncle.
Yeah, good luck, you two.
I got mad at the tone of his voice. But he did take care of us, even if it just for a while, so I had to thank him. We bowed to our uncle who wouldn't even look at us and left his house. That's how the two of us started living with Ayato. We did our best to help him by doing some of his housework.
Did you guys make this curry?
Yeah, we found a recipe online.
Wow, nice work, you two. I peeled the tomatoes and mixed the curry. Yep, it's delicious. You two are talented chefs.
Ayato was a really bright person. Thanks to him, me and Kazuki, who had lost hope after our parents died and her uncle decided to kick us out, started to have hope for the future. He helped us with our studies and gave us advice whenever we asked for it as well. Before we knew it, he was like a parent to us. But even Ayato, who's usually so kind, got mad once. It's when I told him I was gonna get a job after graduating high school. I'm gonna find a job after graduating. I'll repay you for everything you've done for us until now once I have enough money.
Idiot, what are you saying? You don't need to think you're repaying me. I'm doing this because I want to. I'm happy as long as you guys are happy after all, which is why there's no need for stuff like that.
Then how am I supposed to thank you?
If you say that you were saved by what I did for you guys, then you do something for someone else as well. If you do something that makes someone else happy, the cycle of happiness keeps moving, you see?
Is that how it works?
Yes, which is why you don't need to think of repaying me or anything.
After graduating high school, I went to a vocational school like Ayato advised me to. Finding a job is easier if you're qualified. You can apply for financial aid since your parents passed away in an accident, Ayato told me, which is when I made my decision. 2 years later, I graduated the vocational school with qualifications for accounting and was able to find a job at a company's accounting department after that. I was able to find a good job thanks to you, Ayato. Thank you so much.
It's all thanks to your hard work. You did good until now.
Ayato was so cool when he smiled like that. Someday, I want to become an adult like him. Thanks for everything until now.
Thank you. Yep, take care, you two. You don't really have to leave, though.
But if we stay here, you won't be able to bring your girlfriend to your house and stuff.
Yep, I'd hate it if you couldn't find someone to marry because of the two of us. I guess you two are right. You guys are all grown up now, I see.
The truth was that I wanted to stay with Ayato, but we couldn't just rely on him for the rest of our lives.
Come visit whenever you guys want.
All right. Just like that, me and Kazuki left Ayato's house. I'd found an apartment near Kazuki's high school, and that's where the two of us would be living from now. Thankfully, my colleagues are good people. Everyone started being kind to me when they found out that I'd lost my parents and was now living with my little brother. The CEO gave us sweets, Kazuki. Let's eat them together. Oh, and Tanaka-san from the General Affairs Department gave us his food. Kazuki?
Oh, sorry.
Is something the matter?
I was just thinking about something, sorry.
Unlike me, who was completely happy with how my new life was going, Kazuki, who had just gotten into high school, started growing darker and darker. He was definitely going through something, but whenever I asked him about it, he would just brush it off. But one day, he finally decided to tell me.
I'm being bullied at school, Takumi.
What?
When I said that my parents passed away and I'm living with my brother now, they started making fun of me, saying I was poor, and then…
Apparently, not only do they tease and ignore him, but they sometimes steal his stuff as well.
That's unforgivable! I'm gonna go to your school and… No, Takumi! The teachers trust them for some reason, and since I don't have any proof, they won't listen to me.
I see. All right, I know what to do. I went to my room to retrieve something and handed it to Kazuki. Take this, Kazuki.
What's this?
Press the button if they start bullying you again. Do you understand? Kazuki did just like I told him after that. You did good, Kazuki.
Is this gonna fix things?
Yep, I'll take care of the rest. I'm not gonna let them bully you ever again. We got prepared, and a week later, me and Kazuki headed to Kazuki's school. It was a weekday, but my company gave me a day off after I told them what was happening. We didn't have an appointment that day, but when I told them what I wanted, they agreed to meet us at the principal's office. I pushed the button in front of the principal and Kazuki's teacher. We were both sweating from nervousness. A recording of the awful insults and violence Kazuki's bullies gave him started playing.
Do you think that a poor person who doesn't even have parents can breathe the same air as us? If you want us to accept you as our classmate, then you have to be our slave. Lick my shoes and say, I'll be a Kubo-sama's slave from now on. No, I'll never do that. Is that so? Then is it alright if we throw away your shoes again? Let's burn it this time so we can't get it back no matter what. Good idea. Does anyone have a lighter? Don't! My brother brought those shoes.
It's just as you heard just now. If you don't take care of this immediately, I'll have to go to the Board of Education. We'll investigate it right away and make sure the students responsible get what they deserve.
I'm so sorry. It looks like we were too complacent. We're so sorry.
I wonder if mentioning the Board of Directors worked, but the principal and Kazuki's teacher immediately took action like they said they would. We were called to the school again next week. Kazuki and his bullies were also here for a talk. Apparently, the main culprit was a boy named Okubo. He and 2 other students were there. If you do something like that to my brother again, I'll call the police.
The police? Yeah.
Okubo, watch your mouth! What you guys did counts as assault and extortion. You should consider yourself lucky you got off with a warning this time. Yes, we're very thankful for your kindness. Apologize, you 3!
Sorry!
I won't do it again!
Thanks, brother. Thanks to you, I'm actually starting to enjoy school.
I see. They aren't bullying you anymore.
Yeah, they still ignore me, but I'm fine with that, though.
I'm glad to hear that. Tell me whenever you're having problems with anything else.
Yep. Next time I'll try my best to take care of it on my own. I want to become a responsible adult like you someday, after all.
It would have been nice if that was the end of the story, but apparently the 3 bullies started picking on another kid. The new victim asked Kazuki what to do, which is why Kazuki asked me to lend him the recorder again just 1 month later. The new victim gathered evidence and reported the bullies, and this time they were expelled. If only they had learned their lessons the first time. I just hope that they repent their actions one day.
I was able to save Saito like how you saved me, brother.
I'm sure this time Saito is gonna help someone in trouble himself. That's how the world works.
Ayato used to say the same thing, right? Yep, I know. Let's go and see Ayato. We haven't seen him in a while. There's so much I want to tell him.
All right, let's go see him this weekend.
Yep.
We made curry, which was Ayato's favorite, and brought it to Ayato's house. Ayato started tearing up when Kazuki told him about what happened at his high school.
You two lost your parents and suffered because of it, but it's helped you guys become able to understand others' pain and be kind to them. I'm sure your parents will be proud.
Really?
I wonder whether they're watching us. They definitely are. They're always watching over you.
Me and Hayato losing our parents so young was nothing but a misfortune. But our new life has taught us a lot of new things we might not have been able to find out otherwise. The world isn't such a bad place. Just like Ayato helped us that day when we had nowhere to go, me and Kazuki are never going to ignore a person in need when we need them. I hope the cycle of happiness continues forever. I'll do my best to make sure that when I someday meet my parents again, they'll say, "You did good."
My name is Rika Adaichi. I go to a decent high school. I'm back.
Where have you been?
An unpleasant voice follows behind me and my heart sinks. It's my father. It's only 8.
You're in your 2nd year of high school. What's happening with your studies?
I'm doing it!
And why are you home so late? Wasting your time, no doubt.
Just shut up! Leave me alone! I forcibly shrugged off my father's hand he placed on my shoulder. What's your problem? All you talk about recently is studying. It's really getting on my nerves. We stared at each other in fierce silence, but deep down, I also felt a little sad. My father's a construction site supervisor. He was hardworking, strict, and didn't say much, but he was also kind and cared deeply about his family. I used to be very close to him as a child. Up until about primary school, we went to a lot of places together, and on my birthday, he would take the day off and cook me something. You were working last night, right? Maybe you should just relax.
What are you talking about? It's your birthday. I can't just relax on your birthday.
Even though he must have been exhausted, this is what he said to me. You're going to burn it, sweetie. You need to flip it.
All right, like this.
It's not like he was good at cooking, but he asked my mother and do his best to prepare me something. I can't believe you made a hamburger, Dad.
I think I burned it a little. Don't force yourself to eat it.
It's delicious. It didn't look great, but my dad's cooking was full of love and care and tasted great. I haven't eaten my father's cooking for the past few years. I wonder why he's changed so much. To be honest, we no longer had a good relationship. It wasn't all his fault. I knew I was also being a pubescent teenager. For the past 2 years, my father has kept nagging me about studying. I'm guessing the reason must have been because of my high school entrance exams. At junior high, I used to be a fairly good student, but I failed to get into my first choice high school. Having only gotten to my second choice, I lost all motivation to continue studying, and my grades suffered as a result. In response to my poor grades, my father would say,
Are you studying? What grade did you get?
Just shut up! Leave me alone! I started to push away my father who'd only ever talk about my grades and studying. And here we go again today.
Do you seriously think you're gonna get into university at this rate? You wouldn't want to repeat what happened with your high school entrance exams now, would you? And university exams are even harder.
I know! Stop telling me what to do!
If you were preparing properly, I'd have nothing to say to you.
So that's the only thing you care about? Me studying?
That's not what I said.
It's true, though. When was the last time we talked about something other than my studies? Never!
That's...
Ever since I failed my high school entrance exams, it's the only thing you talk about! My father froze for a second and ran into my room. Rika, your father just wants what's best for you. I know you find it annoying, but try to see where he's coming from, you know? I'm going to sleep. I don't want to see his face for another second. The following morning.
Morning.
Mom, next week's parents' meeting. We need to sort out a time. Yes, about that.
But I will be attending it.
But we agreed Mom would do it.
I want to talk to your teachers about your study plans going forward.
Why are you getting involved?
I want to talk to your teachers about how best to prepare for university.
Okay, whatever. As I said, the only thing you care about is my grades.
Rika, that's not it. Listen to me.
I have nothing to discuss with you. I thought I told him how I felt last night, but clearly it meant nothing to him. Too appalled to even care, I grabbed my bag and headed to the door.
Rika, that's not it.
Don't worry, I'll study. Just don't talk to me anymore.
Bye-bye.
I ignored him and slammed the door on my way out. Your mom is coming to the parents' meeting, right? Nope, my dad's coming. Apparently he wants to go over my university preparations with my teachers in great detail. That's nice of him. How? Because he cares. My dad doesn't, and he's always arguing with my mom. But that's literally all he ever wants to talk about. That means he loves you. I'm so envious. Loves me? It's not that I didn't get what she was saying. Maybe I do need to mellow down a bit and comprise more. Just then, my phone went off. It was from Mom. What's wrong, Mom? Rika, you must come to the hospital now. It's your father. I felt the blood rush away from my entire body. That day, my father was overseeing a construction site as usual when a pile of metal pipes came crashing down onto him. I don't remember how I got to the hospital. Before I knew it, I was walking towards his room with my legs trembling. I'm sure he's okay. I'm sure he's okay. I kept telling myself that my father was strong and there was no way he could die. But what I saw in the hospital room was my mother crying beside the motionless body of my father and a white cloth over his face. Father! No, it can't be! I touched my father and was shocked by how cold he was. My father's died. I can't believe it. I can't believe my last words to him had been so mean. Don't talk to me anymore. No! Father, no! No matter how much I cried for him, he didn't open his eyes. This regret has stayed with me for 10 years. After my father's death, I studied hard and somehow got into a good university. I graduated and joined the sales department of an insurance company. When I stepped into my apartment, I caught a whiff of something delicious cooking.
Welcome back. Dinner's ready.
The person who greeted me with a kind and loving smile was my boyfriend, Hayato. Hayato joined my company a year before me and asked me to be his girlfriend in my second year, but he was looking after me from long before that. Every year in January, there would be times when I would become a little mentally unstable and my work would suffer as a result.
Rika-san, there seems to be a lot of mistakes in this document you made.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not like you to make these types of mistakes. You're also looking a bit pale. Is everything okay? You don't have to tell me if you don't wanna. But if you ever do need someone to talk to, I'm here for you.
Thanks.
Do you think we can have a chat after work?
Hayato, who was my supervisor at the time, listened to me carefully.
I see. Thank you so much for telling me this. Don't worry, I'm sure your father forgave you a long time ago.
I wasn't sure I believed him, but somehow his words put me a little at ease. Ever since, he supported me whenever I needed him, and eventually we started dating. And just last month, he proposed and we're now getting married. We began talking about our wedding plans over dinner.
How about you write a letter to your father and read it out?
Huh?
How about you take this opportunity to tell your father all the things you never got around to telling him? I'm sure I'll be watching over you as you get married. So, why don't we write him a letter?
My last conversation with my father had been pretty much an argument. He would want to attend my wedding, right? Okay, let's do it. Thanks. Hayato convinced me to write a letter of appreciation to my father. The day of the wedding, around 80 of our friends and family attended. The reception began with Hayato's nervously delivered speech and proceeded smoothly as guests laughed at the congratulatory speeches and entertainment from close friends. Eventually, it came time to read our letters to our parents. Thank you so much for everything, Mom, and somehow, I managed to get through the section to my mother, but when it came to read the section prepared for my father, I couldn't say the words, just at that moment.
It's time for a surprise. May I kindly request your attention directed towards the screen?
The venue went dark, and on the screen, I was watching something I couldn't believe. Father? My father looked a little embarrassed and spoke to my mother on the other side of the camera.
Are you recording?
Yes, I am. You're looking great.
I'm a little shy.
My father cleared his throat and began talking slowly.
Rika, how's it going? It's been a while, hasn't it? If you're watching this, you must have gotten married. Congratulations! I'm so happy you found your happiness.
No, this can't be!
There's something I would like to tell you at this important milestone. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension. This condition occurs when the pressure in the blood vessels within the lung rises, placing an added strain on the heart, and my doctor has given me 2 years to live.
My mind went blank hearing my father say this. At the same time, An intense feeling of guilt surfaced and I looked away from the screen. Hayato came by my side.
Listen to what he has to say.
Hayato.
The reason why I didn't tell you about this is because I didn't want you to worry about me. I'm very sorry. Currently, you're in your second year of high school. My goal is to help you as much as I can, at least while I'm still alive. But I can tell that my dwindling health condition and my anxious state of mind might be manifesting itself in unhealthy ways. Every time I talk to you, I regret the way I say things. All I want is to guide you towards a better future. But maybe my pride is getting in my way too. I'm sorry for all the distress I've caused you. What I want you to know is that I couldn't have asked for a better daughter. Of course, I want you to do well in your exams, but there's so much more to life than simply getting good grades. So long as you marry someone who truly makes you happy, that's all I want. Today is the day you've achieved this. Congratulations on getting married. And to my son-in-law, please look after Rika for me. And finally, I would like to apologize to you for not being able to be there as you become an adult. But I will always be watching over you from heaven. So, make sure you lead a happy life. Rika, thank you for coming into our lives. I love you. Was that okay? Did you get it? Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
My father smiled and the video message ended. This isn't fair. How could this not make me cry? I was both smiling and crying at the same time. But I can't keep crying like this. I pulled myself together, held back my tears, got in front of the mic and managed to say some words. Father, thank you so much. I was so surprised and my mind went blank, but I'm in a very happy place right now. I said some horrible things to you on the day you passed away. I'm sorry for pushing you away like that, unable to think about anyone but myself. I promise to live a happy life with Hayato. Please watch over us with peace of mind from heaven. Father, Mother, thank you for looking after me. I might not have said it very eloquently, but I finally feel like I got the things that I had to off my chest. A few years later, are you chilly? Have you had enough to eat?
Mama.
She's so cute. Our daughter Yuka was born this autumn. Her name was made from the U of my father Yusuke and the Ka from my mother Yumika.
Rika, shall we take her to your father?
Good idea. And today is the first time we're taking her to my father's grave and introducing her to him. I hope he's happy to see her. Shall we go see your grandfather?
Ah.
Yuka wriggled around looking happy. Father, I'm happy right now. My name is Anna Yoshimura. I'm 35 years old. I've only recently become a Yoshimura. For a long time, I was a divorced woman, but recently, I'm married and now have a son who's in junior high. This is the story of how Koki and I became a real family. I first got married when I was 21 years old. The person I married was a classmate, and we've been dating since high school. His name was Soichiro Ikawa. After graduating high school, Soichiro joined a local seafood processing company, and then we got married. But our happy married life only lasted 1 year. When we were out on a drive, as we loved doing, he crashed into oncoming traffic and passed away. I was sitting in the passenger seat and was pregnant at the time. Sadly, the baby didn't survive the shock of the accident. Having lost 2 lives so important to me, I spent a number of days in a daze at home. I felt like I would never recover from this. But there was this one person who managed to cheer me up. It was Soichiro's mother. I'm sure Soichiro would have wanted you to be happy. Mother! No doubt, she must have been hurting from losing her only son. But my mother-in-law was truly a strong person. You must forget about Soichiro now and live boldly. Encouraged by my mother-in-law's words, I decided to leave my hometown. My plan was to start again in a new place. 12 years since then. I've been working at various companies as a contract worker. I started to go to events where divorcees could hang out as a result of my work.
Anna-san, there's this matchmaking event our client is organizing.
Right. Never did I think I would have a life-changing encounter at this event. The venue was in the main hall of a famous hotel. There was a huge chandelier, a lush carpet, and an extravagant feast. Everything was out of the ordinary, and this excited me a lot. Most of the participants were either my age or older than me. I met Daisuke Yoshimura thanks to the staff matchmaking. For some reason, even though it was our first time, I was able to relax and have fun chatting with him. You have a son who's in junior high? I would have never guessed.
Yeah, he can be quite the handful.
He said it was almost impossible to remarry when you also had a problematic son.
But I still think that boy needs a mother.
Daisuke-san's first wife had passed away in a freak accident. Daisuke-san said he had also lost his mother when he was very young and had suffered a lot from it.
I just don't want him to go through what I did. That's all. No matter how much he misbehaves, I still love him to bits.
I spoke to a couple of men after that, but Daisuke-san was the only person who caught my attention. I could tell I was starting to develop feelings for him, the way he loved his son so purely. After the event, Daisuke-san was very surprised when I asked him out myself.
Are you sure? I'm not that much of a catch, you know.
That's not true.
Not to mention my son.
That's no way to talk about your son.
Yeah, you're right.
In order to figure out whether we were a good match for getting married, we talked about many topics. Daisuke-san used to enjoy riding his bike with his ex-wife. I also enjoy taking long drives with my husband, and I can also ride a bike.
You can? That's amazing. Let's go motorcycle touring sometime.
But while we were dating, something tragic happened. Daisuke-san was diagnosed with cancer. He suggested we break up because of it, to which I replied, "I can't leave you now! That would be even worse!"
Ana-san.
And that's how we promised each other we'd get married. After that, I went to Daisuke-san's house for the first time. "Hello, Koki-kun. My name is..." He didn't even stop to hear my name.
Hey, Koki! Come back here, Koki!
Koki-kun gave us a harsh glare and left. We knew we were going to face some resistance, but even Daisuke-san was surprised how obvious his son made it.
I'm sorry, he's very stubborn. Just like his mother was.
It's okay, don't worry. Let's take our time. No matter what face Koki-kun made at me, I didn't stop trying to interact with him. "Koki-kun, it's your birthday soon, right? Your dad told me. Is there anything you want?" No matter what I said, he continued to ignore me and would avoid even making eye contact. He either stayed in his room or would sometimes just leave the house. This went on forever.
This is not good. Without his approval, we can't even organize a ceremony.
I didn't expect things to be easy. But maybe I shouldn't be too pushy either. We began to panic. We wanted to have the wedding as soon as possible. One day, when I went to Daisuke-san's house, Koki-kun was tinkering with his bike with a delinquent-looking friend. They were staring at the engine intensely.
There's a screw loose here. Maybe that's the problem. Here too. Maybe we should take it to a mechanic? Oh, I forgot. You don't have any money.
"Something wrong with your bike. Let me have a look. I'm just gonna borrow this."
Hey!
It's a skill I learned when I was younger. By the looks of it, it doesn't seem to be a serious problem. I quickly fixed his bike. When I told him to switch on the engine...
Hey, it worked! Look at you, lady! Oh, you must be Koki's new mom. She's not! And you! Mind your own business!
Koki-kun! Koki-kun drove off angrily. His friend apologized to me on his behalf.
I'm sorry about him. That's the bike his mom used to ride.
Oh gosh, and I just tinkered with it without even knowing. No wonder he's mad. His friend told me where Koki-kun might have gone.
There's this observatory on the other side of town, from where you can see the sea. He's probably there.
I went to the place fully expecting him to not be there and found him staring to the distance. I approached him and turned around and saw me. I grabbed his arm and stopped him from walking away. "Please, Koki-kun, I'm sorry about earlier. I didn't know that was your mother's bike."
Whatever. Marry my dad if you want. It's none of my business. But I'm not going to betray my mom.
What do you mean betray? That's not what your father is doing.
If finding a new woman and getting married is not a betrayal, then what the hell is?
Koki-kun screamed and shook my arm off and turned away from me again. I thought long and hard but decided to tell him the truth. I'd already gotten permission from Daisuke-san. "Listen to me, Koki-kun. Daisuke-san, I mean your father. He has cancer."
No. It can't be.
"It's true. He's still in the early stages, but there's no telling what might happen. That's what the doctor said. There's a possibility he may pass away and leave you, and he's really troubled by that thought."
That's a stupid reason to get married! Are you okay with that? You know we're not rich, right?
Hey, cut it out! I love Daisuke-san, even though a kid like you might not get it. Koki-kun, I'm begging you. You have to accept us getting married.
Do what you want.
Koki-kun didn't wait for my reply and left the observatory. That day, he didn't come home. A few days later, Daisuke-san contacted me.
Koki has been caught shoplifting. I can't get to him right now.
Koki-kun? No way! I'll head straight there. Where is he? I rushed to where Koki-kun was said to be. It was a large supermarket in the neighboring town. "The only way scum like you are going to learn their lesson is by getting caught by the police. Go to the police and tell them what happened." Koki-kun was getting reprimanded by a security guard lady in her 60s who was probably hired to catch shoplifters. The shop owner who was checking the CCTV saw me and led me inside.
It seems he was here with a couple of friends. He doesn't want to show us the inside of his bag. I didn't take anything!
You liar! I saw you! Why don't you show us the inside of your bag then?
I don't want to! Don't touch my bag!
Let's all take a breather. Look, your mom's here.
That's not my mom!
What?
It's true I'm not his mom, but I spent enough time with him to know him, and I'm certain this boy. Koki-kun, you haven't stolen anything, have you?
Are you accusing me of lying? I've been doing this job for over 20 years. I know a thief when I see one.
I don't care. Koki-kun, you're not the kind of person to steal something, correct? Koki-kun let out a heavy sigh and placed his bag on top of the table. Can I open it? He nodded his head and so I proceeded to open his bag.
What?
Inside his bag, there was not a single thing from the shop. The old lady turned pale blue. Why didn't you just let them see the inside of your bag?
My mom got me this bag, and I didn't want anyone to touch it.
I deeply apologize for this misunderstanding. I promise we will make it up to you at a later date.
The store manager deeply apologized. The old lady also bowed her head and we were free to go. What I found out later was that another kid had shoplifted, and Koki-kun just happened to look a lot like him. That was the reason of the misunderstanding. The store manager visited with the old lady to apologize, and that's when we found out the truth. On the walk home from the supermarket, Koki-kun and I spoke about many things. Contrary to how I may look, I used to be a biker and I'm used to those situations.
Yeah. I was wondering how you knew how to fix bikes. Makes sense now.
Are you surprised? Let me know if you need me to fix your bike again.
No need.
Koki-kun turned his back to me as usual.
But what you can do is teach me how to fix my bike, so I can do it myself.
Of course I will. That makes me very happy. Thank you, Koki-kun. Daisuke-san and I ended up having a small wedding ceremony, and of course Koki-kun put on his uniform and attended.
Congratulations. I wish you all the best, Anna-san.
He said, all this looking very embarrassed. I don't mind waiting until he feels comfortable calling me mom. Daisuke-san's cancer is also in remission. Finally, I feel like we can start our new lives. When the priest gave us a blessing, I promised myself that I'd do whatever it took to love and protect this family.
My name is Aizao Sumitomo. I work as a self-employed taxi driver. Since my family was poor, I couldn't go to university. As soon as I graduated high school, I started working at a gasoline stand. Since I always liked cars, I didn't mind doing that job that much. Around when I was 20, a friend from high school asked me if I wanted to be a driver for a taxi company. But this was not an easy job. I have to start work at 2 in the afternoon, and I get back around 10 in the morning the next day. I don't have to work the day after that, but as soon as that's over, I have to go and work for 20 hours straight again. It was really tough until I got used to it. But I liked my job. Where will you be going?
Hotel Scatto. Today's a friend's wedding, you see.
I see. Congratulations.
Yes, he's a friend from high school. He went through a lot until now. I was so happy when I found out that he was getting married.
I see. It's nice to see people who have gone through suffering become happy in the end. I'm sure today is going to be a wonderful day both for you and your friend. It looks like today's customer doesn't mind having a conversation. I don't talk to customers that look like they're tired or they don't want to talk. But I do my best to talk to customers that do. It's part of being a taxi driver.
Are you married?
Yes, I work irregular hours, so it's hard for my wife though.
Being a taxi driver must be tough. You see, I work irregular hours as well. I'm a doctor. I'm not married yet, though.
Oh, I'm sure finding a partner isn't difficult for someone like you, though.
Foo-foo. I'm just a boring person that goes to work every day then goes home.
No, being so devoted to work like yourself is admirable. We got to our destination while we're having a conversation.
Let's both take care of our health then, shall we?
He said when we got off. Not all customers are as nice as him, but I still think that I was meant for this job. I continued working at that taxi company for 10 years. Wish I could choose my own schedule, though. I kept thinking that to myself, and so I quit working at the company in my late 30s and started working as a self-employed taxi driver. But even though I had more freedom with my schedule, business didn't go well, and I couldn't earn enough to support me and my wife. She lost patience with me and left when I was around 40. After being self-employed for a while, I finally started earning a stable income, and things started going mostly well for me. Thankfully, some of my customers even appoint me directly, and now I even have money to spare. A few years ago, however, I accidentally strained my back. I went to a doctor and the pain got a bit better, but even after that, my hip has been hurting. I've been to several clinics, but
It's difficult when it gets to this stage.
it'd be best if you don't involve sitting for so long, but apparently there's no cure that will fix my pain completely, which is why every time I go, all I get is a massage and a poultice. My hip hurt more and more as the years went by, and before I knew it, I was 50. At this rate, I might not be able to drive again. If that happens, I'll have no income. An acquaintance of mine told me about a job involving light-duty work. I would be able to stand while working there, which is apparently better for my hip than driving. If I don't take this opportunity, I might not be able to find a job later on. After much thought, I decided to make this season of taxi driving my last. One day, I dropped off a drunk customer to his home and used the toilet in the park when I saw a little girl walking on her own. What is a little girl doing alone at a time like this? I got worried and talked to the girl to see if she was alright. "What are you doing alone at a time like this, miss? Where are your parents?" Looking at her closely, I realized that her clothes were tattered and there were cuts on her face. The little girl was wary of me at first, but when she saw my clothes and my taxi,
Can you take me somewhere?
"Sure, no problem." The address the little girl gave me was really far away. She must be in some sort of special circumstances, but I feel like it's best not to try and pry information from her. I thought to myself, "It's pretty far, so we'll have to drive until morning. Is that all right?" I asked her. The girl just said yes, and so I started heading to the destination. After a while, the girl said something to me.
I look like this and was alone during the middle of the night. Aren't you going to ask anything?
You want me to ask? Everyone has something that they want to tell others. I'm not going to try and make you talk. But if talking will make you feel better, then I'll be glad to listen. After a moment of thought, the girl started talking about her situation. Her name is Makoto-chan. Makoto-chan's parents got divorced when she was still young, it seems. Her mother took custody of her, and they started living with her mother's new husband.
My new dad was nice at first. He'd take me and Mom to all sorts of places. And he'd pat me on the head whenever Mom got mad at me and I started crying.
They were a happy family, even though they weren't bound together by blood, it seems. But one day, her new father got fired from his job, and ever since then, all he's done is drink and gamble. He relied on the income Makoto-chan's mother earned working part-time to get by, and whenever he got mad, he let it out on Makoto-chan and her mother. You didn't think of running away? Like to the police or something?
Dad always threatened us, saying, "You know what will happen if you guys run away, right?" And Mom told me that she was going to save money so that they could move to a new house, which is why I needed to be a bit more patient.
Makoto-chan believed what her mother told her and bared with her father's abuse. But one day, her mother left for work and never returned. Apparently, Makoto-chan doesn't know whether she got into an accident or just ran away. Now that her mother was gone, however, Makoto-chan finally gave in. She left the house in the middle of the night while her father was asleep. The address she gave was that of her real father. It seems that not long after her parents got divorced, her real father sent them a letter. But as soon as she read the letter, Mom panicked and called him.
Don't contact us again. I have a new husband now, and both me and Makoto-chan are happy with our lives. Do you understand? We're strangers now.
Mom got mad and hung up the phone.
After the phone call, Makoto-chan secretly put together the letter her mother ripped apart with tape. And now she's heading to the address that was written on it. Things like this shouldn't happen. I didn't say anything aloud, but I could feel my whole body getting hot with rage. We got to our destination the next morning. What's the matter?
Sorry, I don't have any money.
It's fine, I could guess from the start. I'm going to quit this job next month anyways. I'm just glad I could help you.
What? You're quitting? Thank you. But I'm going to give you the money someday, I promise.
It's fine, really. I appreciate the thought, though. It's this house, right? Let's go, I'll go with you. The destination was a house that was pretty big. Considering the time, I wasn't surprised when no one answered the doorbell. Apparently, no one's home. We waited a while in the car, but it didn't look like anyone was going to come home soon. I didn't know what to say to Makoto-chan. Looks like no one's home. Too bad.
It's fine. I'll just come again.
I see. You're strong, Makoto-chan.
Can you take me to the nearby police station?
Alright. What a strong child. If she's determined to decide her own fate for herself, then I don't have the right to stop her. After that, I went to the nearest police station, just like she asked me to, which is where I dropped her off. I'm curious as to what happened to her after that, but I didn't have any of her contact information, so there was nothing I could do. One day I thought of her while I was driving in my taxi. This is where I met Makoto-chan. I tried looking around for her, but not once did I see her after that. But a miracle occurred. It was the final day before I was supposed to retire from being a taxi driver. I was preparing to go to work in the morning when my doorbell rang. I wonder who it is. How strange. Yes? I looked through the door hole and saw a girl in a pretty dress and a well-dressed man standing there. Who might it be?
It's me. Do you remember?
I think I've seen her before. Wait, could it be? I opened the door. Are you, Makoto-chan?
Yeah.
How did you find out where I live?
This.
Apparently, she found my address from the name card I kept in my taxi.
Here. I promised I would give it someday.
Makoto-chan came all the way here to give me the money she owed. Oh, thanks. I'm glad we could meet again. I almost started crying.
My name is Takashi. I'm Makoto-chan's father. I heard what happened from my daughter. Thank you so much for saving Makoto-chan.
Don't worry about it. I'm just glad she was able to find you.
Thank you.
Takase-san is a doctor, and apparently he couldn't go home that day since he had work to do at that hospital.
I really don't know how to thank you. You're my daughter's savior after all.
No, I just did what anyone else would. After that, Takase-san thanked me so much that I actually got a bit embarrassed.
Anyways, I heard from my daughter that you're gonna quit being a taxi driver.
Oh, you see, my hip has been hurting for a while now, and it looks like doing work that involves sitting down for long periods of time is impossible now. I want to keep being a taxi driver, but an acquaintance of mine told me about another job I could do that doesn't involve sitting down, so I thought I'd call it quits here.
I see,
Takase-san said. After thinking for a bit, he told me this.
You see, an acquaintance of mine is a specialist who works in a university hospital. What do you say to being treated by him?
But I've already been to multiple clinics, and they all said that there was no clear cause.
He's a renowned doctor that's treated hip pains no one else could treat. Not only that, but it's a large hospital, so they have the latest equipment. What do you say, Sumitomo-san?
You said that you like driving a taxi, right?
Yes, it's just as Makoto-chan says. Alright, if it isn't too much trouble. Just like that, I renounced my retirement. I was self-employed, so it's not like it affected anyone else though. After that, I started receiving treatment at the university hospital, thanks to Takase-san introducing me to his acquaintance. The treatment worked, miraculously, and the hip pain that's been causing me so much stress until now slowly started to go away. Thanks to that, I was able to continue working as a taxi driver. I guess kindness really is rewarded in the end. I can't thank Makoto-chan and her father, though. Makoto-chan's adopted father, on the other hand, he no longer had anyone to let out his anger on, so apparently he went to a pachinko parlor and made a huge commotion while drunk. I was really surprised when I saw it on the news. Seriously, Makoto-chan didn't deserve a father like him. I'm still in contact with Makoto-chan's father, Takase-san. Sometimes I go to his and Makoto-chan's house while he's busy with work, so that I can take Makoto-chan on a drive.
Look, there's a rainbow over there.
You're right, it's so pretty. Makoto-chan started praying. Is she wishing for something?
I just remembered something Dad told me. He said that long ago, he used a taxi to go to a wedding of a friend of his, and he said that the driver was a really great person. The driver told him, "I'm sure today is going to be a wonderful day for both you and your friend," apparently.
Wow, what a heartwarming story.
He also said that it's nice when people who've been through suffering find happiness in the end. He sounds like you, don't you think?
Wait. The connections that bind people together are invisible, it seems. I thought to myself then that I was blessed to be able to have this job.